Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Olga Panchenko and I am an advocate. Today I have to make some official statements as the advocate of the United States citizen, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya. First of all, I would like to say that I am not a native English speaker, but I'll do my best to make you understand me. The subject of my video interview is as follows. Yesterday, by Mr. Nigel E was spread lie and defamation against my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya. It was made on the official page of Mr. Nigel E in the Facebook. So, the main statements of Mr. Nigel E are as follows. The first statement, that my client, under fake names, emails his friends and spread that Mr. Nigel E is a fraud. The second is that my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, sent February death threats. Also, he hacking his cell number. So, the first I would like to say about this is as follows. That my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, never violates the law. Moreover, my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, didn't do these actions. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Nigel E has no evidence of his statements. Why he has no evidence? Because my client didn't make these actions. So if Mr. Nigel E has any evidence of his statements and of his words, please, Mr. Nigel E be so kind to send me this evidence. But I am pretty sure that you have no this evidence, and I do know that these statements are lie. So, after that, Mr. Nigel E stated that my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, is also known as Rock Diesel and Winston Wolf. Dear Mr. Nigel E that it seems to me that you still live maybe 100 years ago somewhere in the Wild West. You should know that the name of my client is Alessandro Krivosheya and he has no other names. And any your statements that my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, is also known as Rock Diesel and Winston Wolf is false statements. So, after that, Mr. Nigel E stated that my client, under the fakes, lied about that his fake profile borrowed money to Mr. Nigel in 2016. Dear Mr. Nigel, my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, didn't make those statements. Moreover, you should know that any fake, also the fake in internet, is not able to borrow somebody money. Only human beings or legal entities borrow somebody money. So your statement, first of all, is it is not truth, and secondly, it is not logical, and you should know about this. After that, Mr. Nigel E made a statement that Mr. Oleg Maltsev, who is a master of Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, plagiarized the materials of Mr. Nigel E. So, Mr. Nigel E, you should know that Mr. Oleg Maltsev, he is a scientist. Moreover, you should know that he has his own scientific and research institute. So, Mr. Oleg Maltsev also has a PhD, so he is Dr. Oleg Maltsev. So, he has the official statement degree as a scientist. He is the owner and the director of Scientific and Research Institute. So, the conclusion is as follows. Dr. Oleg Maltsev creates the materials. So he does create the materials, and he never plagiarized any materials because he doesn't need this. He has his own materials as the result of scientific and research activity. Also, Mr. Nigel February stated that Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya belongs to a Ukrainian cult and he is being investigated by the authorities. About the investigation by the authorities, so my official statement is as follows. That my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, never violates the law and he is not investigated by any official authorities in any world country. About the claim about Ukrainian cult. So Mr. Nigel February, I hope that he knows that in the Declaration of Human Rights, in the Constitution of any country, and also in legal documents, international legal documents, the right for the freedom of the religion and of the belief is proclaimed. The people who violate this right and say that somebody belongs to a cult, they are called religious extremists. So Mr. Nigel February, it seems that you act as a religious extremist. Why? Because you violated the right of my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, for the freedom of belief and freedom of religion. And I'm pretty sure that very soon you will answer as for both for your words and both for your activities as the religious extremists. I'm pretty sure that our actions will be hard, but our actions will be in the area of law. The last thing I wanted to say that about claims, Mr. Nigel February, about the plagiarized materials. I saw the information on the page of Mr. Nigel February that he claims that Mr. Oleg Maltsev, Dr. Oleg Maltsev, plagiarized his materials and he means the Piper system. So today I saw their website where all the trademark registered, where there are all registered trademarks. And you know that I was searching for a trademark Piper, that his owner is Mr. Nigel E. February, and I didn't find it. So, the conclusion is as follows. Mr. Nigel E. February spread lies against my client, Mr. Alessandro Krivosheya, and against Mr. Oleg Maltsev. I am pretty sure that he will answer for this defamation in accordance with the civil law and both criminal law. And today we start not only the investigation of authorities, also we start a journalist investigation. And I think that very soon we will have very interesting results, I mean official results, about who is Mr. Nigel E. February and what is his activities. So this is all. Thank you for your attention. Hope to see you soon.